Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Trucking Tower podcast and this segment of Heroes in Trucking. I'm very excited to be joined today by Michael Mercer, who is the CEO and founder of F3Defense. How are you doing today, Michael?
I am outstanding. Thank you, Andy. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. You know, you and I were talking before the recording, and I learned an awesome story involving a trucker defense system, and we're going to talk about that. I first of all want to thank you for your military service in the Navy. And then you had 23 years on the police force. And what you have really ties in with your background. Can you tell us about F3 Defense?
Sure. F3 Defense was created really out of this last year. I had after my retirement in law enforcement, I started a crime prevention company with education, crime prevention, consulting. I do CEPTED. I'm one of only 6 CEPTED advanced practitioners in the United States. And CEPTED is crime prevention through environmental design. So I was doing that for 8 years, and then COVID hit and I lost everything. You know, I couldn't do business anymore. We couldn't travel. The state of our country was in shambles, and we lost 40. I live in Maine. We lost over 40% of businesses up here, just closed. And so I had to pivot. I had to do something. So I heard of a woman went up to woman and her 3 kids. Her name's Gina. She wanted to go up north to see President Trump. Actually, she wanted to show her kids Air Force One as it was landing in Bangor. Anybody would, it's impressive. So she brings her family up there, and she gets stuck in one of those crazy protests that we had over the summer in Bangor, Maine. I don't know if you know Bangor, Maine, but the population is about 25 to 30,000. It's just not that big. And we're in rural Maine. So she got stuck in this riot, and they held her hostage there for 13 minutes with her 3 children in her van. And it made me sick to hear this on the radio. So I met a guy that we were involved in something else. I'd never met him, and I said, Gary, let's just go and have lunch. I would like to meet you. You're involved in another. We're plaintiffs in a lawsuit, actually. So I wanted to meet him. So we had lunch, and we both heard the same story about Gina, and we were both sickened by it. So I'm a chemical agent specialist. I've been doing pepper spray training. I've created pepper spray chemical agent specialist programs for City of Mesa specifically back in 1996. So I know pepper spray very well. I know less than lethal options for people. And what we were seeing out there was insane. I needed to come up with a way to save people's lives and not have them have to resort to deadly force. And Gary, my partner, said, he pulled out a napkin and says, well, will this work? Will this work? So he starts making some designs. And I'm like, Gary, all of this will work. So we invented a mobile pepper spray deployment system. So I pivoted from consulting to a manufacturing company. And now we've invented the pepper spray system that's patent pending, and we have a couple of different variations, and we're going to talk about the truckers unit as well later. But that's how F3 Defense was born, really out of necessity of what has been happening, and really kind of divine intervention, because I really didn't know what I was going to do after I had to close my company, and God put me in place with Gary, and we came up with this. It's like putting peanut butter and chocolate together. It's something good.
Absolutely. I can vouch for that. So, unrelated to business, what is one thing people probably don't know about you they may be surprised to learn about you?
I love surfing. I love the ocean. I was born in California.
Okay.
Back in the 60s, let's say. And I used to go to Huntington Beach. I lived literally like 20 minutes from Huntington Beach. So the water's always been in my. So when I moved to Maine, yes, it's cold to surf up here. But after about 40 years, I just picked up surfing again last year. So it's super fun. And it's just so peaceful, relaxing. You're one with God and the surfboard and the surf. And it's really cool.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I was able to surf one time. I didn't do well. I fell more than I surfed, but I tried it at least. So it is fun to try anyway.
Well, it's the peacefulness of it, right? It's the peaceful of being out on the board and just being on the water. And yeah, I mean, wiping out's half the fun.
Right, and you wipe out in the water, so it's not so bad,
That's right.
um, you talk about your mobile pepper spray deployment system that helps drivers safely escape an attack. And there's
Right.
been news about attacks that we've seen. I'm sure everybody has. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. What I did for the city of Mesa really was a result of the LA riots that was taking place in the mid 90s, as you know, from the LA riots, the Rodney King riots. So I knew there was a way to use. People didn't have the options, Andy. When I saw people being surrounded in their vehicles and carjacked, and they only have two options. People have the option of deadly force, right? They'll run somebody over, or the more than likely anybody, 99% of the people don't want to kill somebody else. I'm going to say 99.9%. They just don't. So what's going to happen is they're going to hesitate. They're going to hesitate at that traffic light. They're going to hesitate, and they're going to get pulled out of their car, and they're going to be injured or killed. Mm-hmm. What I am giving them is another option. It's less than lethal. They don't have to run over anybody. They don't have to get pulled out of their car and attacked. They can safely deploy pepper spray from inside their vehicle using a canister just like this. This is the canister you get, and it's a pepper spray. It's 18.5 ounces, and it's attached to a quick release valve that is inside your car. The exterior has an exterior head that at that point you can deploy the pepper spray safely, and it will encompass the whole exterior of your vehicle, allowing you to escape. Andy, there's a very simple formula to be safe. Time plus distance equals safety. If you can put enough time and distance between you and your attacker, you're going to be safe. And what I've done is we've put together a less than lethal option where people don't have to second guess themselves. They can say, okay, guys, I'm not going to kill you, but you're going to get out of my way. And that empowers people. That at least lets them people know that I have an option. You do not have to make me a victim. And that's where freedom from fear comes from. The F3Defense, my tagline in my original company was freedom from fear. I do not, it bothers me when people have to live in fear. And when especially I know that they don't have to.
Right. Absolutely. What else are you working on these days?
Since we started with our first iteration was the passenger vehicle. So now it looks, if anybody sees like the fin antenna that's on the truck top of the cars, well, we have a patent on that has, it's actually a dispensing head. So if you have a vehicle and you have that antenna looking thing, shark fin, it could be a pepper spray dispensing head from F3Defense. So that's our civilian use one. We also have one for truck drivers. Now this truck driver unit is amazing. Well, I started doing my research to find out what was happening to truck drivers, what was happening to female truck drivers on the road, what was happening to cargo. 42% hijackings are up, way up. They're up over 500%. But crime towards truck drivers is up 42% through the whole pandemic. Rapes, assaults, hijackings. So once I started seeing the threats to not only our truck drivers, female truck drivers, and our supply chain, really, we're talking about our supply chain, and they need to be protected. I started researching this about how these parking lots, there's no place for these truckers to park. They're oftentimes parking in locations where it's dark because they have to get off the road because their hours are up. So they're located in places where it's dangerous. And I just said, this is ridiculous. This doesn't have to be. So we created this system where you can be safely, again, inside your cab of your truck. And we have two nozzles that actually come out each side of the door fairing on the side of the truck. And these nozzles face directly up to where your attacker would be coming into your truck. So as soon as he reaches up to try to come up, he gets a whole face full of pepper spray and on each side. That allows you to escape. That allows you to get out of there, because I've been sprayed 104 times, and it takes me 45 minutes to recover every time I get sprayed. So it incapacitates you. It moves you away. It shuts your eyes so you can't see anything. So what did I tell you before? Time and distance equals safety. This is the perfect option for them. And another cool thing about it, it has a UV dye in it. So if you don't want to call the police, the guy takes off, whatever. And even 2 days later, they can draw a black light over him and see if that dye is still there. So, if the guy's attacking you, he gets away, the police can still identify him later, within, next couple of days that he has the UV dye. So that's the system we built for truck drivers. I just heard this, Andy. We're working with the truck driving organization in Laredo, the Laredo Motor Carriers Association, and they're telling me that they have sister companies in Mexico that they have to take their door handles off. They have to take and disengage their electrical system because their truckers are getting pulled out of their trucks. Their cargo is being hijacked. And, if I can get this into, all it takes is one guy to get sprayed and the word's going to get out, that they're going to leave these truckers alone because they might have pepper spray. So that's what we're excited about now, the truckers. And we're also working on law enforcement one. It's called the Lancer, and it's specifically for law enforcement. Again, police officers only have two options when they're in that position, right? If they're surrounded like we've seen, they're either in there and they're stuck, or they have to run somebody over. I'm giving them a less than lethal option to escape. This is placed across the light bar in a very low profile. And there's a 10-pound tank in the trunk of the either cruiser that has as much as 2 gallons of OC in it. And then there's an electrical switch in the dash that they can just pop, 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 and that sprays out all around their cruiser just to disperse people. Nobody has ever been injured by pepper spray. It's organic. I put it on my cheeseburgers. You can eat it. It's an organic alkaloid. So it's not a chemical. It's not developed in a laboratory. It's developed from the pepper plant. So if you have like a pepper and you've ever touched your eye after cutting, some peppers for your habaneros or for some, guacamole, you've had pepper spray in your eyes. So it's less than lethal. It's not going to hurt anybody, and it's going to allow you to escape. So that's the exciting thing about it. It's just going to give people options to escape safely.
Okay, very good. And what's the best way for people to connect with you?
Right now, our first store is up, and that's the truckers page. So we're really trying to get this out to the truckers. It's f3defensestore.com. And that'll show you exactly what the truckers system looks like. Not only this, you get the trucker system, you get 2 of these. We don't want a trucker to have to be in the middle of Oklahoma somewhere and spray somebody and have to use it and not have a backup. So if you're a trucker, you're going to get this. You're going to get 2 of these 18.5 ounces. And you can only get this through me. I have a relationship with the Sabre Corporation out of St. Louis, Missouri. And this is all proprietary nozzling. And so the only way you can get this size pepper spray is through me. So we're real excited about how people are going to stay safe, really, because this is revolutionary. Nobody's ever had this. There's nothing like this out there. Not only is it going to save lives, it's going to save property as well. Cargo property is billions of dollars stolen every year.
Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate what you're doing. And I really appreciate you coming on with me today to tell us about this. It's a revolutionary thing that you're doing. And again, I appreciate your service, also your public service. And so that's going to do it for this edition of the Trucking Tower podcast and our Heroes in Trucking segment. Thanks again, Michael, and we'll see you guys soon.
Okay. Thank you, Andy. Have a great day.
You too.